We can bring pleasure and nutrients in a snacking way. And this is where we are putting our efforts in terms of innovation.
Beatrice, Stéphane, Beatrice, to you, where is AI making the most impact, would you say, currently in areas of marketing and innovation at Bell?
I would say that, we have mapped more than 260 tasks that we're having marketing, where AI can augment the way we work. And for me, what is most striking is that it really embeds from innovation to marketing, from insight to concept creation to content creation and online activities. We can follow the full flow to the work. And for me, this is really the systemic approach that is making the most of impact.
Stéphane, when it comes to growth, are companies looking in the right places?
So you see here, it's all about AI this year, and I think rightly so. And, we see 4 areas where AI can really, let's say, boost growth. The first one is the insight to innovation cycle. The second one is the consumer engagement cycle, as you were highlighting. And the third one would be the sales execution cycle. And last but not least, the planning cycle. So all 4 areas can really turbocharge growth if you look fine. But you need to address the opportunity properly. And I think echoing also what you were explaining, you really need to address it in a very end-to-end process reinvention and avoid isolated initiatives.
Yes, I think that definitely we need to move from a use case to a fully integrated
That's
system
exactly that.
and put the human at the center of it. And we strongly believe that AI is augmenting human and not the contrary. So this is the most important.
Absolutely.
There's no shortage of innovation in this space, but what is really resonating right now with consumers?
So, we believe that we see the healthification of the snackification currently. You see the snackification over the world. More than 20% of the consumer are snacking in a way or another. And what is really a strong trend is how health is coming into that and how you need to combine both what we call the nutrient-dense approach with the pleasurable approach and the portion control. And to that extent, we are at the core with the Bell system of it because we really believe that we can bring pleasure and nutrients in a snacking way. And this is where we are putting our efforts in terms of innovation, not to make it a trend, but a sustainable way to eat and to transform to, I would say, take for good and eat for good and to combine it in our innovation pipeline.
I can only echo what Beatrice is saying. I think spotting the right trends and doubling down on those is very important. You mentioned some of those. I think an important one, we're going to release a publication very soon, is about GLP-1. Typically, this is transforming the habits of many consumers, and that is offering a lot of opportunity for innovation, for food, for drinks, for cosmetics. Nothing new here, it's just consumer centricity, but spotting the most powerful trends.
I just want to ask you about GLP-1. We're hearing a lot more, I think, about it this year, understandably, particularly from an American perspective. We're here in Europe, you're European. What's the perspective here on GLP-1?
So we see that GLP-1 as well is booming in Europe, and the trends coming from the US is booming everywhere, especially as now there have been some authorization coming on that area. I think that what is also super interesting on the GLP-1 approach that we are embracing, I would say, for 2 years at Bell, is that it's not only to address the people who are under treatment, who have specific needs to address, it's also that it helps in terms of education about how to eat more fibers, more protein, less carbs. And I would say that it raised the topic of the basics of the food and how as well you need to bring nutrients and pleasure together to have a sustainable diet. So we see that booming a lot, I would say almost everywhere in the world, but as well in Europe for sure.
Beatrice, Stéphane, thank you so much for your time.
Goodbye.